About half an hour's walk south of the village of Letanovce in eastern Slovakia live some of the most deprived people in Europe. This is a Roma settlement called an osada in Slovak. It has one water pump for 100 families, no electricity and no real sanitation.
Deti potrebujú sa kúpať, my sa chceme kúpať dobre, čistote chceme byť, svetlo nemáme, my chceme žiť tak, jak normálni ľudia. To sa v takom prostredí, jednom byte sa nedá žiť. Chceme sa kúpať, musíme deti vyháňať, treba sa kúpať, napríklad celý chcem sa kúpať, nemôžem. Rozumiete ako?
There are about 500,000 Roma in Slovakia, nearly 1 in 10 of the population, and a third of them live in settlements. Almost all face discrimination, which is a violation of their human rights. Very few adults have jobs. If anyone becomes ill, then healthcare is hard to access, and the local non-Roma communities are at best wary and at worst hostile. Huge numbers of Romani children are segregated into Roma-only schools or sent to special schools for children with physical or mental disabilities or learning difficulties, where they get a substandard education. Often they're caught between a system that seems to have given up on them and a home life that's helping them to fail.
Ja by som chcela, že by tie deti mali doma tie domácu úlohu, že by som aj ja im pomáhala, že by sa učili, že by sa... Ale nedá sa nič robiť. Máme jednu sviečku, čo chceme, že by deti sa učili, a to raz vaše pripáľa a musíme ísť spať.
The Krushtens have a one-room home and 4 children to get ready for school. 3 go to a special school and 1 to the ordinary or basic school. There is 1 bus a day that goes into the local village of Letanovce and 1 bus a day that comes back. Children who want to stay late at school to study have a long walk home. It's only through education that these children will break the cycle of poverty that the Roma have been in for centuries. They're almost certain to face discrimination or stereotyping from their teachers, the state and the local authorities.
Najväčší problém u Rómov je to, že chýba im tá predškolská výchova. Oni, keď nastúpia do 1. ročníka základnej školy, dlho im trvá, kým si osvoja nejaké také základné návyky existencie. To znamená, oni nevedia používať WC, nevedia používať vodovodné kohútiky a to je obrovský problém.
But there is a chance of a new home for the Krushtens and for the rest of the settlement. Building work has started with money from the European Union, but it's already taken more than 2 years and been the subject of protest petitions from the local villagers who don't want the settlement nearby. And they're not the only ones. The Roma say the houses aren't right for them and will be too expensive to run, and that the site is now twice as far from the village and from their children's schools.
Ja si myslím, čo je tu teraz, alebo kde sme tam teraz, je to to isté. Budeme spať na zemi s deťmi, lebo tieto prostory nie sú vyhovujúce. A oddelení od tohto našej obci 6 kilometre, ja si myslím, že to je proti európske normy.
60 kilometres away in the village of Jarovnica, there's another school offering preschool education. Downstairs, children play happily in a classroom that could be anywhere in Europe, but with one difference. This is a non-Roma class of children from the local village. Meanwhile, 1 floor above, the Roma children have been separated or segregated and are learning at an early age that they're thought of as different.
Hovorím, špecifikum tých letanoviec a tých jarovníc skutočne treba preskúmať, áno, že prečo sa to tak deje. Ja nie som za to, aby... áno, v istom zmysle treba z Bystránoch. Áno, máme plne organizovanú základnú školu, kde sú rómske deti a je ročníky 1-4 len a tam sú, dajme tomu, nerómske deti, áno, v inej budove. Ja to považujem za segregáciu. Áno. Len hovorím, treba potom počúvať vlastne všetkých občanov. Predsa ten rodič je daňový poplatník, aj ten. A má právo sa aj ten rodič vlastne vyjadrovať, áno.
As the children get older, the segregation becomes greater. At 6 years old, having finished nursery school, these children will have to leave here and be sent to an overcrowded Roma-only school. The head teacher says Roma parents are happy with the arrangement. Not everyone agrees.
Ja by som bol rád, keby boli moje deti so bielými. Že by sa to učili moje deti, že by sa učili to, čo aj bieli. Že by aj ono vládol ten nemecký alebo anglický jazyk. To by som bol rád. A keby trebalo aj zaplatiť, tak mu zaplatím aj školu, všetko, že by sa učil.
Ladislav, along with the other Roma parents, has to pick his children up half an hour earlier than the rest of the school so that there's no overlap with the non-Roma parents. Home for him and his family is the Jarovnica settlement, the biggest in Slovakia. He works long hours for a construction firm in the hope that his money will give his children the chance of a better life, knowing that money isn't their only problem.
Áno, je diskriminácia. A veľká. Pretože to nie je jedno, neviem, čo to sú, ani neviem si to predstaviť, že jak je to možné. Predtým za komunista chodili všetci Rómovia ako so bielými chodili. A bieli sa sťažovali na Rómov, že ako oni im nedávajú pokoj, že im krádnu také dačo. Ale to nebola pravda. Ako chceli toto, že by mali, že by rómske deti boli rozdelení, aj bieli, že by boli rozdelení. A to dosiahli. A neviem prečo teraz, že takto isto. Takže, že rómske deti v školke hore sú. Ani to som sa ani o tom vôbec nezamýšľal, že kvôli čomu to je. A ja som si takedy dával takú otázku, že kvôli čomu to je. Prečo také malé decko nemohlo by byť so bielým?
The Roma have the same aspirations as the majority of the population in Slovakia, but they can't achieve these unless and until the government of Slovakia assumes its responsibility to protect, respect and fulfil the basic right of Romani children to an adequate education. As a first step, the government must make an immediate and clear political commitment to eradicate the segregation of education for Roma. It must take all measures immediately to reverse this intolerable situation. The government must also ensure that segregated and impoverished settlements for Roma are a thing of the past.
The Roma have the same hopes for their children as any parent, and they have the same rights as any of us. The right to education free from discrimination, the right to an adequate standard of living, and the right to a life lived with dignity.